The rain made everything shimmer: street lamps, car hoods, and the long legs of the woman who stepped out of the black sedan. Celeste Morrow didn't rush. She never had to. The city bent to her tempo. She lit a cigarette under the velvet awning of Velvet Vice, her private club tucked between abandoned jazz bars and strip joints with flickering signs. From the outside, it looked like just another upscale lounge. Inside, it was a playground for the wealthy, the corrupt, and the desperate. It was where secrets were traded in gasps and moans. Celeste exhaled slowly, watching the smoke curl upward like a dancer. Detective Lila Vance sat 3 blocks away, watching through binoculars. "She's back," she muttered to her partner over the mic. "Try not to drool this time," came the dry voice of Agent Marcus Hall from the van beside her. "I'm not interested," she lied. Celeste had been the target of an ongoing investigation: money laundering, trafficking, even suspected murder. But so far, nothing stuck. Everyone who got close either vanished, or suddenly claimed they'd seen nothing at all. Lila had watched Celeste for 6 months now. Studied her patterns. Her gestures. The way she touched people's arms when she talked: intimate but calculated. She knew Celeste was dangerous. But there was something else beneath her criminal empire, something seductive and strange, like the feeling before a storm. Inside the club, Celeste walked past murmuring couples and red curtains that moved like breath. Private rooms lined the back, guarded by women in tailored tuxedos and silk gloves. She stopped at the bar. "Champagne. And tell Miss Ha to prepare room 9. The bartender nodded. Room 9 was for special guests. Celeste turned and paused. There, standing at the far end of the bar in a black trench coat, was Lila Vance. She wasn't in disguise. She wasn't trying to blend in. She wanted to be seen. Bold. Or foolish? Celeste's eyes gleamed. She glided across the floor and stopped inches from Lila. "Detective. I didn't think you were the type for places like this." Lila's jaw was tight, but her eyes gave her away. "Thought I'd see what all the noise was about." Celeste smiled slowly. "You don't strike me as curious. You strike me as hungry." A beat passed between them. Thick with unspoken things. "Follow me," Celeste whispered. Room 9 was candlelit and soundproof. The door clicked shut. Celeste poured 2 glasses of champagne and handed one to Lila. "You could arrest me right now," Celeste said, sitting on the edge of the silk-draped bed. "But we both know you won tea." Lila stepped closer. "And why's that?" "Because you came here for something else." Her voice dropped. "You've been watching me for months. Tell me, when you listen to those tapes at night, do your hands ever wander?" Lila froze. Celeste stood, closing the space between them. "I don't mind. You wouldn't be the first." Their lips were just inches apart when Celeste suddenly backed away. "But you're not like the others," she said, reaching into a hidden compartment in the wall. She pulled out a flash drive and tossed it on the bed. "Consider that a gift. Proof of who's really running things in this city." Lila's pulse jumped. "Why are you giving this to me?" "Because I want you to owe me," Celeste whispered. "And I always collect my debts." Instead, she sat in a nondescript motel room just outside the French Quarter, her Glock on the nightstand, a half-empty whiskey bottle on the dresser, and Celeste Morrow's flash drive plugged into her encrypted laptop. The screen flickered. A list of files appeared. No labels. Just dates and timestamps. She opened one. A hidden camera view. A backroom. A city official, Councilman Derrick's red-faced and panting as a woman in a silk mask climbed off his lap. Celeste's voice, calm and dangerous, echoed from off-screen, "You'll vote to rezone the district. Or this goes public. Clear." He nodded, sweat dripping down his temples. Lila leaned back, exhaling slowly. This was it, evidence tying half the city's elite to Celeste's underground blackmail operation. It was also a loaded gun. She could end careers. Bring the whole operation down. But part of her hesitated. Why would Celeste give her this? She looked again at the still image of the councilman. The room. The angles. No. Celeste wasn't being generous, this was a test. And Lila had just stepped into it. The next morning, Lila brought the flash drive to Internal Affairs. Officially. Unofficially, she made a copy before she turned it over. She wasn't naive. If this case blew open, people at the top would scramble to cover it up. Her own captain had once called Celeste a necessary evil. Now she was starting to think Celeste wasn't evil at all, just smarter than everyone else. That night a courier slipped an envelope under Lila's door. Inside, a single black and white photo. Lila. In room 9. With Celeste. No touching. No kissing. But the photo caught the tension, the nearness, the vulnerability. On the back, a handwritten note, "Don't play games you can't finish. See." Lila crushed the photo in her hand. Was it blackmail, a warning, or something more intimate? She didn't know anymore where the lines were. That was the danger with Celeste, she didn't pull you under. She let you walk in willingly. Elsewhere, in the private penthouse above Velvet Vice, Celeste leaned against the floor-to-ceiling windows, looking down at the glowing city. Behind her, Misha, her most trusted bodyguard, waited silently. "She's good," Celeste murmured. "But predictable. You're not worried?" "No," she smiled. "She's already mine." Back at precinct headquarters, Captain Rowley slammed the flash drive on Lila's desk. "Where the hell did you get this?" "I have my sources," Lila said flatly. He leaned in. "This isn't evidence. This is a grenade. You think you're going to take down Celeste Morrow and walk away clean? You don't know how deep she goes." "I think I do," Lila said. "And I think you're scared." Rowley's silence said enough. She stood. "I'm not backing off. You're in over your head. Then maybe that's where I belong." Later that night, Lila returned to Velvet Vice not as a cop. Not as a spy. As something else. She needed answers. Clarity. And Celeste. When she entered, the club seemed to hold its breath. Celeste was waiting at the bar, her back to Lila. But she turned like she always knew she was coming. "No badge tonight?" she asked, amused. Lila approached slowly. "No lies either." Celeste studied her. "Then let us begin." She led Lila back, not to room 9, but somewhere deeper. The vault, a mirrored chamber lit by gold sconces and scented with jasmine and danger. Celeste closed the door behind them. "You've seen pieces of who I am, detective." She reached out and touched Lila's collarbone. "Now I'll show you the rest." The vault was not in any building plans. No cameras. No microphones. Just mirrored walls, dim golden light, and the slow pulse of ambient music that seemed to echo from the walls themselves. Celeste closed the door and leaned her back against it, eyes locked on Lila. "Why are you really here?" she asked, voice low. Lila didn't answer right away. Her heart was racing, not from fear, but something far more dangerous. desire, compulsion, curiosity laced with heat. I could ask you the same, Lila said. Celeste took a step forward. You could. But I think you already know the answer. Another step. I wanted to see what kind of woman would follow me for 6 months. Listen to my voice while she lay in bed. Come into my den. Without backup. Now they were inches apart. Celeste's fingers gently brushed the lapel of Lila's coat. You came for the truth. Let me show you how I give it. She moved in, slow and deliberate. Her lips hovered over Lila's, close enough to feel breath but didn't touch. Instead, her hand slid to Lila's waist, fingers pressing lightly against her hip bone. I want to kiss you until you ask me to, Celeste whispered. Because I want to hear you say it. Lila, breathing heavier now, still didn't move. She was trained to resist pressure. But this wasn't pressure. This was seduction with precision. And it was working. You think you're in control, Lila murmured. Celeste smiled. I know I am. The silence stretched. Then quietly, as if admitting something to herself, Lila said, do it. Celeste didn't hesitate. Her mouth met Lila's with a hunger that had been building for months. It wasn't soft. It wasn't careful. It was a collision of power, suspicion, lust, and frustration. Their bodies pressed together, hands grasping through clothes, lips parting with gasps and friction. Lila pushed Celeste hard against the mirrored wall. Celeste moaned against her mouth, fingers already unbuttoning the detective's shirt, revealing skin inch by inch. You wore this for me, she said, voice thick with approval. Lila's jacket hit the floor. Her holster landed with a soft thud. I shouldn't be here, Lila whispered, eyes fluttering shut as Celeste's mouth trailed down her neck. But you are, Celeste replied, teeth grazing skin. And I'm going to make sure you never forget what you did. They moved toward the low velvet chaise in the center of the room. Celeste's fingers slid under Lila's waistband, teasing, exploring, as if mapping a crime scene with expert precision. Every touch was a confession. Lila was no longer the hunter. She was the evidence. The weapon. The secret. Some time later, as they lay tangled in the soft fabric, bodies still buzzing from the encounter, Celeste whispered, their essay list. Lila stirred. What list? Names. Judges. Detectives. Politicians. All owned. All compromised. Hidden in a place no cop will ever find. Celeste turned her head. Unless that cop is already dirty. Lila didn't answer. Her mind was a whirlwind of afterglow and alarm bells. And that's when she realized, this wasn't over. This was the beginning. The morning after felt like a dream Lila wasn't sure she wanted to wake up from. She lay alone in the vault, the air thick with the memory of Celeste, her touch, her taste, her scent still on Lila's skin like smoke. But there was no time to indulge it. Because what Celeste had whispered before they drifted into sleep was the key to everything, their essay list. And Celeste never spoke lightly. Lila drove straight to her hidden safe house, heart pounding harder than it had when Celeste had kissed her throat. She opened the backup copy of the drive again, this time with new eyes. There were hidden file paths embedded in the video metadata coordinates. Lila followed them. They led her to an abandoned church near the Mississippi, gutted by fire but still standing. In the basement behind a loose panel in the altar was a small steel lockbox. Inside, a bound dossier labeled the Vice Ledger. Photos. Payouts. Surveillance stills. Names. The city's most powerful men and women all linked to Celeste. All compromised. Blackmail, favors, blood money. Even the mayor. And on the last page, Lila's own name. Not for corruption, but for potential asset. Emotional leverage. Dangerous if uncontrolled. Lila stood there frozen. She wasn't a partner. She was a piece on Celeste's chessboard, a pawn that thought it was a queen. Back at Velvet Vice, Lila didn't ask to be let in. She stormed past the guards and made for the penthouse. Her badge, her morals, her inhibitions all left in the car. Celeste was waiting, already pouring 2 glasses of wine. "You read the ledger," she said. "You used me," Lila growled. This was all manipulation. Celeste tilted her head. "Was it that didn't feel like manipulation last night when you were?" "Shut up." Lila grabbed her by the wrist, hard. Celeste didn't flinch. "I trusted you," Lila said, voice trembling. "I wanted you." "And you still do," Celeste said softly. Their faces were close again. But this time, the heat between them wasn't just lust, it was rage, betrayal, heartbreak. And beneath it all, longing. Lila kissed her again violently, hungrily, as if trying to steal back the pieces of herself Celeste had taken. Clothes were torn. Buttons flew. Nails scratched skin. But when it was over, Lila stood, chest heaving. "I'm taking you in." Celeste lay back against the couch, flushed but calm. "Are you?" Lila raised her phone, already dialing internal affairs. "You lost, Celeste." But Celeste only smiled. "You haven't asked the real question yet." "What question?" "Who do you think gave me your name for the ledger?" Lila froze. Then the voice answered on the other end of the phone. "Detective Vance, this is Captain Rowley. You need to come in immediately. Your access has been flagged. We need to talk about your relationship with a suspect." Click. Lila stared at her phone. "Disconnected." "Checkmate," Celeste whispered. 3 days later. Celeste Morrow walked free. Velvet Vice reopened under a new name. A new front. A new game. And Lila, she was gone. No badge. No press. Just disappeared. Some said she ran. Others claimed she switched sides. But Celeste knew better. Because one night, months later, a letter arrived at her penthouse. Inside, one line, "I'll be back for you. But this time, I want to come alone." And below that, a kiss print in deep red lipstick.